Yeah. Well, I almost got killed in Puerto Rico twice. Uh, we had an agent there, uh, and we were doing a little bit of business, you know. And the only reason we were doing a business because the boss's son was in charge of the southern branch, Hialeah and Sarasota, and we were looking for. And I liked him. He's Don Riskin. He was a nice young man, you know. And he's very smart. He graduated from Indiana University, majored in Spanish. In Puerto Rico is like a big potato, and there's a mountains of one from San Juan on one side to way down to Mayaguez on the other side, and the only way you really, unless you want to drive through the mountains all day long, and boy, the treacherous drive. And this agent of ours is one of these people that when he talked to you, he had to be in your face. And I say, watch the road, watch the road. And he keeps talking to me all the time. It drove me crazy. And,
you're on mountain roads.
Yeah, right. And then I see a road suddenly veer off to the right and up the hill. And I said, well, where does that go? Oh, he says, that's just in case you have trouble. You can't stop. Gravity stops you. That made me feel good too, you know.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, we had this customer that he had a record of always having a complaint. If somebody would ship him something and he'd complain, this wasn't right, that wasn't right, and so on, and so I was prepared, you know, and he told me that the stainless steel was distorted. He said it was bent, you know, stainless sheets, and that stuff is 90 cents a pound. That's pretty expensive. And I looked at the record and I said, well, this is actually FOB. Our terms are FOB, free on board, which means that as soon as we deliver the steel to the ship of your choosing, it's yours, period. Whatever happens, then, yeah, he says, if you said it's FOB, I guess it's FOB. Yeah, oh, it is FOB, I said. And they said, now I know what happened to your stainless steel. He says, you do? Yeah, I said. The wind came up and was on yours, the ship you selected, FOB, and the wind came up and the waves came and it made the stainless steel wavy. He looked at me for a while and then he roared with laughter and he said, that's the best laugh I've ever had. He just called his accountant. He said, how much do we owe these people? And the accountant said, it gave him a number. And he said, I mean the whole thing, even the stuff that isn't due, you know. And so I got paid. And he laughed, and then he insisted on buying dinner. I had to stay.
What about the airplane where the door came open?
Oh, now that really, the other way, if getting to one end of Puerto Rico to the other, is a little commuter airplane. And the airplanes were World War II bombers. British Hurricanes, I think they were called. And they were 4-engine and they had 2 pilots. And they had 16 seats. And as we were waiting to take off, and Puerto Rico is tropical, you know. I had my elbow against the window and we had a sudden shower. My elbow got wet. which didn't make me feel very good, no. You know. So we took off, and I'm sitting there reading a book. Oh, I had this Spanish kid with me was a salesman there, and he thought I was reading the Bible because he knew I had to fly, you know. He told me that later. And then I look out the window and suddenly I see the water. We'd flown straight up across all the mountains, and Mayaguez, that's the other end. And we started our descent, and all of a sudden, woo, like an explosion, and roaring sound, and this airplane is going like crazy, and all I'm thinking of, what is Jen gonna do with those 3 kids, you know? Yeah, I thought we bought the farm, really, because they're roaring. I turn around, there's one empty seat behind me. And I'm looking straight down at the water. The steps had fallen out. This crazy bomber, you had to get onto the airplane. Even the pilots had to, right in front of the tail is where the steps were. They had to come up that way, and the steps had fallen out, and the pilots was trying to control the aircraft as it go. Finally feathered the one engine, you know, the torque must have been terrible. And then the co-pilot came with a scared look on his face, and he's pulling on the chain to close the door. He almost fell out a couple of times. I thought, oh no. Finally, he gets it closed, then he goes back up. Yeah, we did it. Oh.
And then how about the time you came back to Barrington, and then you turned on the TV, and the hotel where you're supposed to be staying was on fire.
That was the other time it got killed. Yeah, gee whiz.
You were staying there, weren't you?
Yeah. What happened? There's this downtown hotel, like 15 stories.
Was that San Juan?
And San Juan. And our agent, that idiot, he wasn't watching the time. It's the only time in all the years I worked that I ever missed an airplane. And I missed the last airplane. It was taking off, and so I guess I got to stay in a motel. So I went in there, and they were refurbishing the motel. It was 15-story, but they started doing it from the top down. But they were almost done. There were three stories at the bottom that were still old. And so I said, tried checking in. I said, I want the new part. And, oh, I'm sorry, sir. She said, we're overbooked. There simply is no room in the uppers. What we do have the 3 at the bottom, which are the old. I said, I guess I'll have to settle for the old. And it was old, and it was, there were bugs this big crawling around, you know. It was, and but I made it through the night, you know, and took off, and about a couple of nights, a very short time after that, I'm at home watching television, and it had a big fire down in San Juan, Puerto Rico, and this hotel is being refurbished, and people were jumping off and committing suicide, which was preferable to frying, you know.
Yeah.
In other words, a painless death.
Right.
Bang, you're done, you know. And here, I had been in that motel.
Just before that.
Yes. Right? Twice, almost got killed in Puerto Rico.
Well, you can be thankful, right?
Yeah.
You never thought you were locked in